It's time for the Fort Mill Magazine podcast.
It is the week of August 15th. I am Emily Wyatt.
And I'm Tracy Roman. Well, we have a really interesting guest today. And I don't know how excited you are, but I'm very excited because I really don't know anything about fashion per se. I mean, I like fashion. I know what I like when I see it, but I wouldn't consider myself a fashionista.
I'm definitely not a fashion person at all. I like it, but I'm just so okay with being as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
I've always been a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal.
Well, we are definitely all about comfort.
We do work in our pajamas at times.
We do work in our pajamas sometimes.
I'm not scared to say it.
No, there's no shame in my life. Because some days, you know, it's just
one
necessary.
of those days.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But I know what I like when I see
Right.
it. But I really have to say I don't like shopping as much for clothing as I used to. Like maybe when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it then because, you know, my mom was paying for it then.
Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah, now that, you know, I have to buy my own clothes on my own dime, it's not so fun.
I find that I tend to when I was a teenager, I would shop at the American Eagles, and I still shop at the American Eagles, and it's a very younger kind of crowd, and I should have grown out of it by now, but I haven't. So I'll just stick to my flary pants that I have on now, and try to make it look pretty.
Well, we are trying to step up our game.
Yes, and that's why we're talking to
Rita Miles. Yeah. She is the lady in the know. She is the creator of Charlotte Fashion Week. So
she's a big deal.
She's a big deal, and we are so excited that she's going to be speaking with us today.
Yeah. But first, let's talk about our sponsor really quick, Miller Street Dance Academy.
Miller Street Dance Academy is sponsoring this year's podcast. They have two locations, but the location here in Fort Mill is at 967 Market Street, Suite 100. Their phone number is 803-396-5299. Michelle Rogers is the owner, the founder of Miller Street Dance Academy, and she is big into community service. That's one of the things that I think really makes their dance studio stand out from the others, in that they have a program that's called Service Society, and that's where they encourage the girls to get involved in the community, whether it be fundraising or community events, that sort of thing.
You know, that's great for so many reasons. The community, and it's great for the girls. I mean, it's a great resume builder, if nothing else. You can always put it on a college application. I know I did.
Right.
When I did community service and stuff like that when I was in college or high school. So, you know, that's just good stuff all around.
It sure is, and it's one of those ways that you know, it helps the girls to build up their self-esteem and also builds, you know, that sense of responsibility, ties them back into the community.
And it kind of gives them an idea of a big picture, you know?
Right.
Life's not all about going shopping, you know?
Right. And I know that Michelle Rogers is a breast cancer survivor, so she's a huge advocate of, you know, like Susan G. Komen, Race for the Cure. I believe they participate, the studio participates every year in that, and the girls get really involved. They've also worked with Make-A-Wish Foundation, so they're doing a lot of great things, and that's what you want, you know, when your child is wanting to do an extracurricular activity. You want them to participate at a place where you know they're going to get more than, you know, just dance instruction.
A little bit of life experience on the side.
A little character building, you know. So, again, we certainly appreciate Miller Street Dance Academy for sponsoring us today.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And now, our fashionable dancers can learn a little bit more about fashion with Rita Miles. Good morning, Rita.
Buongiorno. This is Rita Miles with Miles Interiors and Charlotte Fashion Week, Charlotte Scene, and Passport for Fashion. I got a lot on my plate.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time to sit down with
Absolutely.
us. We're really excited to learn more about Fashion Week. We're hoping that the area of Fort Mill will start to embrace more fashion type things. And I would say that we're really kind of at a loss. We don't have a lot of clothing retailers here yet, but we want to try to attract more, and we also want to encourage people to, of course, experience Charlotte Fashion Week as well. So if you could just kind of give us like the 411 of that whole experience.
Well, what's so fascinating is one of your colleges down here has been in our office for quite some time. We had about 20 students. Winthrop.
Uh-huh.
And fabulous. And they're into fashion. And some are into business, but they kind of came over to the fashion industry side and got to experience that. So it really opened it up to your area, Fort Mill, and working with them. But Charlotte Fashion Week, we're so excited. And the reason why I started off with Buongiorno is that we are actually doing an Italian theme this year.
Oh, very cool.
So our kickoff this year, well, the dates are September 18th through the 22nd.
Okay.
And the first evening is actually at the Uptown Emerson Joseph's. And this is an evening that you actually meet the talent and the designers. The press will be there. Hopefully you guys will be there. We'd honored.
Love to be there.
Some videography will be done for the designers. And we're doing a speakeasy, so there'll be a tasting of the liqueurs and the cigars. So it's more of a 1920s speakeasy, kind of theme that night with some jazz.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So Wednesday night is a fabulous night, September 19th, with Gentleman Swank. We wanted to introduce the gentlemen of coming in and getting involved and knowing the fashion. So we're having a fashion show for the modern male. And that will be held up at the Residence at South Park on the rooftop pool.
Wow.
And so that will be catered by Cowfish, which will be sushi and elaborate champagne and sake and all that.
Right.
So Thursday night kicks off our major runway evenings. And that's where we come into our Italian theme. The first night is the Wedding and Couture Night. And it's called A Romantic Evening in Italy. We have a 64-foot elevated runway. We'll have approximately 100 models that evening that will walk the runway in bridal and couture. Friday night begins our fashion and emerging designers. And these are fabulous, creative, talented people here in the, surrounding and Charlotte area that are doing the designs, more for the everyday wear.
Oh, okay.
And then Saturday we wrap up with what we're kind of known for is the recyclable show. And this is fabulous. This is where you take anything recyclable from wire to paper to 95.1 is doing CDs, and you adapt it to the body of a model.
Okay.
And so if you can imagine, Yellow Book Pages got involved, and it was this really interesting dress all made out of phone books.
Huh.
And a Ballantine magazine, I think, is doing, the cover and doing a dress out of their magazine. So you guys take all of your magazines and let's get an artist to make a dress and let it hit the runway.
Yeah.
It's great marketing. It's a twist up, but it's also entering into the fashion industry and also hitting a different clientele that normally says, oh, okay, well, this is, you get the appearance and also the marketing in a different way. But it's really interesting.
Very.
And just so much talent.
Well, I'm sure that you've probably experienced like Fashion Week elsewhere, like in New York or something like that.
New York.
So how does Fashion Week here in Charlotte differ or compare to that happens in New York?
Well, New York there's several different, it happens in the Lincoln Center. And there's many different designers happening at once. This is in one evening showcasing all of the designers under one roof. So it's more focused, but the runway is still the same and the models are still beautiful.
Right.
So, and Charlotte Fashion Week is charlottefashionweek.com. Very simple, and tickets are for sale there. as well as a bio and the picture of every designer and every talent that's involved.
Right. So if someone is interested in fashion and they want to participate in this, like how far in advance do they have to start planning and getting involved in such a thing? Like if they're a designer and they want to produce something to be a part of this, who do they contact? Or is it like an audition kind of thing? How does that all
they write
happen?
into info@charlottescene.com, and scene is spelled S-E-E-N, like the scene, charlottescene.com. And we look at their designs, and we have an interview with them to see how the sewing techniques are. Most of your fashion designers, they can do a collection 6 months out, do a fitting with the model, do another fitting prior to the show, and be ready for the runway.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then the model selection, is that done by the designers?
We do that with Charlotte Scene.
Oh, okay.
We have castings. This year we are very blessed to say that we had about 600 come.
Wow.
And we have some most fabulous one. And we have a lot of them that's coming to our height requirement. That's over 5'8", and we got a lot of 5'10s, 5'11s, and 6 foot this year. So we were very
Wow.
proud to have those.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to go and participate for the September event, I can go online and purchase tickets for each day, or is it one of those things where you pay one price and you get to go to all the events?
You can do a 3-day pass or do a 2-day pass, and it's www.charlottefashionweek.com.
Okay.
What's elaborate about the VIP tables this year, especially on the Thursday evening, is just going to be so elegant. If you can imagine all white chairs, all white runway, all white in the room. And then the VIPs that align the runway are going to be with candles, china and crystal. You have a 3-course meal, sorbet before the entree to cleanse the palate. You have champagne upon arrival of your table. So it's very elegant, just like you were at a wedding.
Wow.
The encore of the evening will be a magnificent cake designer, Sugarcraft, that will be making a beautiful wedding cake and will be served to all.
Wow.
Yeah, so for the finale. Mm-hmm.
Very exciting.
Yeah. But we're so excited, and I think the Italian theme, we have a Friday night, the gladiators are going to come out, and then for the recyclable, we have life-size puzzle pieces that a local artist is doing, Vanessa Britt, and when it comes together, it's going to have a unique message at the end.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. So each night is very differently themed, but it all comes to one fabulous show and one fabulous week.
Now we'd like to take a moment to mention our sponsors for today's podcast. It's Miller Street Dance Academy.
They've got 2 locations, one in Fort Mill and one in South Charlotte. If you're interested in registering for classes for any time of the year, feel free to go to millerstreetdanceacademy.com. And now we're back with Rita Miles.
Right.
So other than Fashion Week, what else do you do? Not that you need anything else to do.
Besides Fashion Week, we do have another fashion show in April called Passport for Fashion. And this is one evening that occurs, and it's April 20th, 2013. We already set the date for that, as well as already got some of the sponsors in, because we're sold out at this one on sponsors.
Right.
And that's one fabulous evening that we had 3,000 attendees this last April. And last Fashion Week, we had over 6,000 attendees. So
Wow.
very well
fantastic.
attended
Yeah.
and welcome from the city.
Right.
Yeah. Besides that, I also own Miles Interiors, and it's milesinteriors.net. Started the firm in 1996, and it's a residential commercial interior design firm. So we're gearing up to go to High Point Market in October, taking up clients for that. So besides the fashion show, and God bless that the High Point Market is after the show.
Right.
Yeah, before
Now, how
we
did
got
you-
crazy.
You started as an interior designer with your own interior design firm. Now, how did you venture over into the fashion side? I mean, I know that it's not a large stretch, not a large leap. An artistic person who dresses interiors wouldn't have a problem dressing the female or male figure either. But how did you make that transition?
Well, it occurred at the recession time. I was hit pretty hard because I was doing a lot of the condos uptown, and due to the recession, a lot of them kind of flipped, and the sales were not there. I wanted to be creative of my marketing for Miles Interiors because I was not getting any calls from any clients. So I thought of a way to actually take interior design and construction to the body of a model and put it on runway to twist up marketing for my interior design firm. Right. So I had a model and wall covering, shingles, long shag carpet, took the runway, and it was a blast. We thought we were going to have about 300 people in attendance there. We packed the house over 900, and there was a line out of South Boulevard that couldn't get in.
And that was the very first event?
That was the first event. It happened by accident.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we saw the attendance there, it was just amazing. And I think Bruce Willis was doing a movie or a little shot here, so he was there. And so all the hype, yeah, we were like, he was there. So that was pretty cool. And that happened at Nico. So we took over all of the restaurant.
I think I saw that video. Don't you still have that video playing?
Yeah. So it was quite an experience that night. But when the wall covering and the male model and shingles and long shag carpet came out, the crowd just went amazingly happy, and it was quite the experience. So we took it from there, and we did our first passport for fashion with the recyclables and the local designers.
Right.
And then the local designers came to us and wanted an avenue to show a very elite way of showing their collections to buyers, and that's when we purchased Charlotte Fashion Week.
Wonderful.
So
that's super fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, we very much enjoyed it. Around our lives is this everything in design.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
And you were also telling us about a charity that you were at
an event last night. We are very happy to say that we have Levine's Children's Hospital that we are supporting this year, and they've been amazingly to work with, and we hope to help the children there and save some lives.
And you mentioned something about building a well.
Yes, last night, one of my best friends, Corey Lundy with Nukes, we got together for Clearwater of Malawi of Africa, and we did an event called Blue is the New Black. This is the first annual. It was a great attendance, and we'll be doing it for many years to come and build on it. But it only takes $4,000 to build a well in Africa, and we did that last night and went over. So her partner will be going to Africa in October to find the location for that well. And Africans have to travel so much to get clean water, and we take that for granted every morning that we brush our teeth and we have clean water. Well, they get diseases and they get sick and they die, and we're fortunate to have that. But we're trying to give what we can and to build where we can to save the lives of other people.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Are there any other things that you've got coming up through this year? Before, I know you mentioned in spring you've got the passport for fashion. Is there anything else that you have going on? Any other fundraisers or anything?
We do about 5 to 7 events a week, so that's a very loaded question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, through Charlotte Scene, and I started up Charlotte Scene because I started calling around and really wanted to see the outcome of getting the relationships with fabulous magazines like yourself and the radio and the television. And we basically became a PR firm within the interior design firm. So Charlotte Scene was created in 2010.
Okay.
So Charlotte Scene on itself has actually got a life. And Charlotte Scene, we do very elite VIP events around Charlotte. We do the red carpet and the photographer. So when you come in, it's like that New York or LA experience. And we post up the photos for the people to enjoy.
It's like paparazzi.
It's a paparazzi. Everywhere we go,
Right.
we bring our red carpet. So from that, I was on the board of Juvenile Diabetes, JDRF, and assisting with the Heart Ball and a lot of the other charities. And what we were figuring out is that the attendance needed to be high to make sure that the donations come in to make sure that that charity was taken care of and they meet their goal. So I found out a way through Charlotte Scene that we could build up our clientele and help all charities. So when you have Art for Heart, or you have the Hope Gala or the Heart Ball, it's just one click of the button to make sure that is advertised out there, marketed, so it's well attended.
Right.
So from that, we have about 5 to 7 events a week that we're helping out charities.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal.
How are you not exhausted?
I know, right? It's called Starbucks. Right.
Starbucks is a good thing.
Starbucks is a good thing, absolutely. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, we certainly are. We're so excited, first of all, that you were able to come and sit down with us and give us the lowdown on Fashion Week. We definitely would like to be there and experience our first Fashion Week with you. And we're also excited about your spring event as well. So we'd love to have you come back and
I'd love to.
Tell us about how the September event played out, and then also to give us an update on things for the spring. So we'd love
That'd be
to
great.
have you.
I'd love to be back anytime.
Wonderful. So just tell our listeners again the dates for September.
Okay, Charlotte Fashion Week is www.charlottefashionweek.com. It's September 18th through the 22nd. And then Passport for Fashion is April 20th, 2013. And it's passportforfashion.com. And 4 is F-O-R.
Wonderful. And we will be sure to post all of that on our website. It'll also appear on YouTube and then, of course, Facebook and Twitter.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being here. Well, there you have it. That's a great, exciting event that's coming to our area in September, and we encourage you to check it out. We're hoping to be participating in that event as well.
Yeah, if you know any designers, you have any designery friends that are interested in helping us out with the dress, feel free to give us a call or email or go on our website.
Yes, and that would be feature@fortmillmagazine.com. We will be looking at anyone with a design background who wants to put together a recyclable dress using Fort Mill Magazine.
And what's our deadline for that?
That would be this coming Friday to submit their design.
And that's on the 17th of August of 2012.
Yeah, so that's just around the corner. We need people to submit quickly so we can participate in the recyclable fashion show in September.
Yes.
So thanks again to Miller Street Dance Academy for sponsoring this podcast, and they are located
In Fort Mill and South Charlotte. Again, their web address is millerstreetdanceacademy.com. And if you want to know more about Fort Mill Magazine, you can go to fortmillmagazine.com. You can follow us on Twitter @FortMillMag.
or YouTube at Fort Mill Mag, and also Facebook, and follow our blog, and of course, keep listening.
Always. See you next week.